Cosmodrome counted the last seconds before the start. A little time will pass, and all the radio stations of the Soviet Union will tell the world that from this point in the world a new Soviet interplanetary station has gone to the depths of space. Let's pass the message to the TASS. January 5, 1969. 9 hours and 28 minutes of Moscow time. The Soviet Union. In line with the space research program, an automatic interplanetary station, Venus 5, was launched. And 5 days later, January 10th, Venus 6 started. The joint flight of the two stations will provide scientific information almost simultaneously from different parts of the world. So Venus, the electronic brain of a spacecraft, executes schemes that are still on Earth. It's the command device to find the sun. There's a sun. Sunshine in the lens of the instruments. Now the station's optical eye will keep an eye on the sun all the time. Solar rays, falling on the solar panels, are becoming a living stream of electrons feeding the station's instruments for a long journey to Venus. The planet Venus. From time immemorial, it's the brightest, and after sun and moon, it's attracted people's eyes. Venus is the closest planet to us. Some of her physical characteristics are very similar to our land. Close to the diameter. On vacation. The orbital velocity. For centuries, scientists have tried to see the cloud cover of Venus. But even today's powerful optical systems are powerless in front of the dense cloud curtain of the Venerian atmosphere. What's behind this mysterious cover? Dead rocky deserts, or ringing, and the volcano's lava. Or perhaps life in some unknown debate among scientists did not subside, and when the powerful signals of the radio telescope, piercing the cloud cover of the mysterious planet and repelling it, returned to the ground. Radio echo, billions of times weakened by distance, has brought new light to some reliable, clear light. And conflicting ambulances. The space aid pointed to a new path for planetary exploration. 961st year. For the first time in the world, an automatic station, Venus Odin, was launched. Radio communication was maintained for 3 million kilometers. Back then, it was a record of the range of space communications. 1965th year is the start of Venus 2 automatic station. And in a few days, Venus 3. On their long journey, they carried out a great deal of scientific research. Venus 2 passed at a distance of 24,000 kilometers from the planet, and Venus 3 reached its surface. In the last flight, communication with the stations was disrupted. The 1967th year of June 12th, the inter-planet flight was launched by Venus 4's next space spy. Her flight is a new page in the history of Vine's research. After over 300 million miles of road, the station reached the planet. Separated from the station, the launch vehicle, like a fire meteor, crashed into the atmosphere of Venus. Stopped. I've been parachuting for over an hour and a half for space reporting. In the 93 minutes of this report, mankind has learned more about Venus than in all previous centuries. Russian spacecraft on Venus. This message has spread throughout the world and has become the main sensation of the planet. The president of the USSR Academy of Sciences, Vladimir said, Venus 4 has brought a lot of valuable information about interplanetary space. On the properties of outer space near Venus, for the first time, it was possible to measure directly the parameters of the planet Yupo's atmosphere. Academic Keldysh stressed that the flight of Venus 4 is a major new step in the exploration of the planets of the solar system. The race of space age is racing, and Venus has 4 fantastic flights that have just been stunned. The light has become a story. What did she do? And there's a new attack on Venus on the agenda. A new throw into her unknown world. Venus Automatic Stations 5 and Venus 6. Much like her older space sister Venus 4. But all the elements of these stations must go through even more severe tests. Because the parameters of the planet's atmosphere are measured, Venus 4 is far beyond what scientists expect. It's a landing machine. He's gonna take a terrible blow to the planet's atmosphere. Will its design survive? Aren't the instruments going to fail? Yes. On the centrifuge, each part of the descending apparatus shall be tested under maximum overload conditions. Not just the overload. The atmosphere of the planet, the landing machine will be affected by temperatures of hundreds of degrees and pressures of tens of times the atmosphere.
Check the apparatus under these conditions in a special cell.
The path of the spacecraft is complicated, the ultimate goal. Aerodynamic pipes upgrade the various conditions of the machine entering the planet's atmosphere and test the reliability of the parachute system.
The Earth's atmosphere isn't much like Venerian, but it's used by scientists to test their calculations.
How many of the most varied examinations should each of the parts and materials from which the stations are made? There's rubber, for example. In the silent desert, space awaits not only a hot sunshine, but also a huge dose of radiation. The X-ray system will reproduce these doses on the ground. Under radiation, rubber dramatically changed its properties. She's lost her turgidity. Even the optical glass changes structure and color when it's heavily irradiated. Therefore, special materials resistant to radiation are used in the construction of the station. The overheating of the station will protect a layer of glass-coated mirror tapes. A space coat like this will help maintain the necessary temperature conditions inside the station, which is very important for the normal operation of the instruments. Ready to go into space. The station is undergoing the final tests with its hands. Sensitivity devices that account for each gas atom will detect the slightest weak failure. It's okay. In artificial space, the station behaves well. But the main exam, it's real open space. Earth watches closely over the flight of his messenger. All millions of miles of calls, requests, answers. But the weak and monstrous signals from the station are barely visible. And then the commander is allowed to switch from the control station to the top of the long-range space connection. Now the radio signals are focused on a narrow beam of parabolic antennas directed precisely to the ground. The Earth hears the station's voice again. For the 5th month, space explorers have been racing in the ocean, in the village,